Hi everybody, in this video we're going to explore conditional formatting specifically on pivot tables. So if we go into our pivot table, this is only important data for this video. The source of the data is not important. And then we click on conditional formatting. We can do greater than, less than, between, and equal to, but we cannot format for text that contains. If we go outside of the pivot table, we can do contains, you can even do duplicate values. But how did I get highlight orange? What did I want to format? I wanted to format cells that contain this here. Cola is there. Lemon lime. You could do, you wanted to say format it if it's equals, if it just contains. Every single one except for lemon shock here contains in every single instance. How do we tell it only the word itself? To do that, we need to make a formula, a custom formula. So in here, you'll see that I actually have set up the rules. You highlight the whole thing. That's where you get this reference, and you do that. You would write new rule, and then I have a rule, so I click edit rule, and here's my how long formula. I did it the dumb way, but when you're using conditional formatting, making your own formula, usually if it's not just equals something simple, in which case you would type it in over here, especially if you are using the formula for the first time, a custom formula of your own devising, you would want to test it out on a helper column alongside your data first. So I'm actually going to take my formula from the bar and show you and go through it with you. So I think that got all of it. Control C, Control V. So this right now, I'll show it. I'm gonna actually pull it out 3 and pull it down 5. Okay, one second, I just want to make it nice. So you can see the same pattern of highlight is also true. That's because the formulas are working the same way, but just translated over 3 columns. So what is the formula? So let's dive in. First, we use the OR formula to say if any of these options here, you could do it any amount, 1 or more, as you see that they're bracketed. The logical arguments are bracketed because you can, or you don't have to put them in. So first argument. So again, if any of them result in true, if any of them will result in true, then it returns a true. So our first question is, does B4 equals C4? And you'll notice the B is held absolute because I want to be able to pull it across, and the 4 is relative because I can pull it down and it will follow me down. So if it's equal, fine. If it's just by itself, then it'll highlight. But what if it contains? Well, how do I tell it contains but not it contains it by itself? So that's where COUNTIF comes into play. COUNTIF says this is in the COUNTIF formula, there's a range and a criteria. It's asking how many cells in the range fit this criteria. So the range in our application is 1 cell. How many does this cell, how many of this range over this cell equals or fulfills this criteria? What's the criteria? It means text in B4 concatenated with, that's the ampersand, with a comma, with a wildcard, which means which this whole thing means before that, is COUNTIF that greater than 0, which means if it finds it will be a 1, and then that will return true. So what this means in English is, does this start with that? Meaning even if there were more than one item in the cell, does the first item before the comma equal this? And the next one is the same thing, but asking it with a space, with anything before the space, then our text, and then a comma, then anything after the comma, which gives us the option for this. I just did our formula by accident. I'm going to undo. I'm just going to undo that. That's back to there. Okay, so that's the middle option. And the end option is, does anything a space with anything before the space with the text at the end is greater than 0. And that will turn it true when it's at the beginning, it's true when it's at the beginning, it's true when it's in the middle. And do I have any with it at the end? In this case, I actually don't. I'm going to show you the source data and see if we can make raspberry come after B raspberry. So here's B raspberry. There's B raspberry. So I'm going to copy this and take that away. Hopefully it'll refresh in the data model. Refresh all. There we are. And it still works at the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want my help with your spreadsheets, hit me up on LinkedIn.